Hello, and I'm Dustin DaHusky. Today let's talk about more car stuff. And again, back to our normal topic of classic car stuff. So, everyone expects, classic car, something cool, something fast, something powerful. Well, yeah, that is what we all think about classic cars, but it's not what a classic car is. Classic car is literally an older vehicle. It can be anything. While, yes, we would all like to buy, Chevy Chevettes, SS with a 396 or a 427, 4 on the floor, or even a big 454. Or Copo, Poco, Copo. Wait. It's some other GM acronym for something of parts ordered over the counter and installed or something like that. Pretty much what I'm saying is a lot of these cars, what we think is a classic car, are expensive and normally out of our reach. Unless you have about $50,000, $60,000, it's hard enough to get one of these things and put it in your garage. However, you still want to own a classic car. You still want to know what it feels like to own a classic car, to enjoy and understand it, understand yourself, because you realize it's much like an old dog that already knows all the tricks. While it's so easy, you can relate so much. And the more and more you really appreciate. So, you're in the market for a classic car, but you don't want to spend more than 20 grand on it. And under 20 grand is pretty good money, but actually, you get some pretty good quality stuff and some interesting, unique stuff that is not the stereotypical muscle car. Because you know what? Back in the day, they were just regular cars. I'm not talking about muscle cars. There's much more to muscle back then. The majority of cars back in the day were just your regular car. And you know what? Those cars still exist. And they don't cost much money. You know what? Any non-muscle car, yeah, it may not be fast, may not be flashy, may not be exactly what you want, but hey, it's still a classic car, and to be honest, it'll do the same job. It's got character. Parts are still cheap because they made a gazillion of them throughout the years where they used practically the same part over and over and over again. So to maintain them, it's not so bad. It's a fully metal car. You have a little bit of rust, cut it out, patch it out, paint it. These cars will outlive us. I say look for any classic car that catches your fancy. Under 20 grand, you'll do fine. Even 5 grand or even 8 grand, you can still find a good, solid car that might need a little bit of help, but doesn't need it probably does not require much. Or even better, you want a classic car that saves money on gas. We all think classic cars are going to be gas guzzlers, and well, relative to now, yes they are, but Chevrolet Corvairs, Ford Falcon, Chrysler's Valiant. Let's see. Studebaker Lark. What else? AMC American, AMC Rambler. These are all small cars that are cheap to insure, cheap to buy, practical as all hell. Parts are everywhere for them. Maybe not specific body panels, you might still have to look for them specifically, but to keep them on the road, parts are practically everywhere. So really, if you just need to fix it up a bit mechanically, you're all set to go. Again, it's cheap. It's cheap to insure. They're cheap enough to buy. You're still looking at a good investment, but when you think about it, you're not buying a $60,000 muscle car that you're afraid to take out. This is just an ordinary car to just enjoy, use, and as practical, and something you're not afraid to use. Because I know some people who own classic car collections that are afraid to even turn their car on just for the sake of keeping the value up. No, a car should be driven. A classic car, most classic cars are regular cars. Buy a wagon. Buy a classic wagon. Take a special trip in it for a week. You'll actually get a better appreciation for modern cars. But also, you're going to realize that this car's got more character. It's almost more human than you realize for a vehicle. It becomes part of the family. It becomes a family member. You feel like it's got a soul because it's got so much character. And it's so pure in the sense that not a single computer, not a single module, not a single circuit is running this car. The only thing that is really, really operating it is you. You and basic mechanical operation of repetitiveness. It's a simple system, but by far the most complex thing about it is the driver itself. You are the most complex megacomputer to this vehicle. And you know what? Hey, they may not seem cool, but four-door sedan, that's pretty practical. It still could hold 6 people inside the car. It can fit another 4 bodies in the trunk. There we go. And if you eggshell the throttle, and depending on the engine, transmission, and gearing ratio for rear axle, you could most certainly get 20 mpg on some models. I would say 5-liter V8s, or just literally 5 liters and below, you can expect somewhat good gas mileage. Even my Skylark on the highway, if you be gentle on that gas pedal, you could return 20 miles per gallon. Without trying, you can get 18, and without giving any fucks, you can get it down to just about 8. But that's when you really, really thrash on it. On average, it's about 10, 12 mpg. But highway, you'd be surprised what an old machine can actually do. It's not as efficient as you want it to be, but amazingly, it can turn out good gas mileage depending on you, the driver. So, should you buy a classic car? If you're in the market, if you have the space, you get the time and patience, and of course the money, yeah, I totally recommend you buy a classic car, because I guarantee you're going to have a lot of fun. If it's something that you really want to do, go ahead, go do it. But find something out of the ordinary. Find something that is actually going to be pretty cool. Because right now, I've been going to car shows for a long time. Yeah, 67 to 69 Chevy Camaro with all the bells and whistles. Yeah, that looks pretty cool, but Johnny over there has got a base model Ford Falcon with no options. And everyone's looking at it. I go to a car show, and there's at least 20, 30 Corvettes, 40 Chevettes, 38 Mustangs, 27 Camaros, a few Barracudas, all these stereotypical classic cars that do show up at car shows. And yeah, they're out and about, but someone's got an Edsel. Is that a Chevy too, I see? Someone owns a big B-body Chevy Biscayne from the late 60s, a base model full-size car with literally no bells and whistles. That's base model. In fact, you can go below Biscayne. The Bel Air as a nameplate continued until 1976. And it was the base model. Total base model. Didn't get anything with it. And then you had Biscayne. Really? Something as basic as that is going to get so much attention at car shows because people realize sometimes bare basic bones is just as popular as arm-ripping muscle. And whey protein. And giant, huge swinging balls. Holding said whey protein bottle. Oh. Wagons, convertibles, coupes, sedans, all these regular cars, which were regular means of transportation for millions of Americans. They're nothing special, but in a sense they are still special because they lasted. They survived this long. Someone decided to keep this machine instead of chucking it. Who saves a base model 4-door Chevelle with a straight 6 and a 3-speed manual? Who saves that? And it's in baby puke green with baby green shit interior. And yet it still exists. And it could be yours for only 10 grand. Because it may have only 59,000 miles on the odometer, never been repainted, always been garaged. That's a better deal than actually looking at other muscle cars that have been rebuilt and maybe no longer original. And even if you want to build your classic car the way how you want to, it's like an old classic gun. From 100 years ago. Yeah, you can chop the stock, cut down the barrel a bit, put some target sights on it. Yeah, you customized it, but you destroy the originality out of it. You still do that for a classic car. The originality of it is gone, but it's your car. You do what you want with your car. You want to put a big block in it, put a big block in it. You want some aggressive gear ratios, put in something that's going to spin the tires. You want to put rally wheels where there were dog dish hubcaps on steel wheels? You know what? Do it anyway. At least it was not an original muscle car like that. But you can do what the hell you want. But most people just tend to keep them as is. Because it's meant to be a time capsule. Or even if you modify it, you know what? It's going to outlast you. We're just custodians of these four-wheeled time machines. And that's a weird but really fun feeling that right now, at this point, and for the foreseeable future until I'm gone, I am just a caretaker of my Skylark from person to person. And when I'm gone, I would love to hope that the next person appreciates that I was willing to keep this car on the road. And hopefully with that, they'll help keep that car even longer on the road. And it's just a regular car. It's the muscle car, the Buick GS, is based on a Skylark. So my car's got muscle car DNA in it without even being a muscle car. Because really it's the specific gene to make it a muscle car. The genetic material is all there. It's just specifics. So, looking for a classic car? Look for the ordinary. Look for something that's actually practical, because you're going to be really, really surprised how fun it is to actually drive a car that you can use and not be afraid to actually drive. Because if you're going to buy an $80,000 Mustang, you're insane. Because you would be too afraid to use it. And that's a shame, because that's a waste of your money. You should enjoy you should drive what you enjoy. If you're going to be using it as an investment, yeah, you're going to use it as an investment, but you're wasting a lot of your time doing so. So, go out on Craigslist, go find the Hemingway's Motor Magazine, and just look at the car ads. You might find something nearby that might fancy you. Would love to get an 80s shitbox. Oh, that'd be so fun. Because you know what? Not many of them actually survived, which makes them even more fun. And eventually people are going to come around and say, holy cow, this exists! Yeah. Same principle. Different decade. And it can be done with any decade there is. So, happy hunting. Once I can... This is a laptop mouse, and I'm trying to go for my phone. Yeah, I've had a rough week. Alright, now this is for real. We'll catch you guys next time.